Hello, I'm Cher, and this is Diary of a Pen Nerd. So, welcome back. Right now, as it is the beginning of July, or maybe like a week ago, I'm a little late. Everyone's posting their monthly currently inked, July 2024 currently inked, or even their June wrap-ups. And so seeing these every month, it kind of sparks a few thoughts for me in about how I ink my own pens and the reasons I don't do a monthly currently inked anymore. I used to do a monthly currently inked. I was not always like this. I kept track of them in my bullet journal. I have them marked so I can show you. And this was kind of the way I set them up. This is from January of this year. This is what I would do at the very beginning, and then at the end of the month I would come back and I would write out what I thought about it. And that was all well and good. And then here we have February. And this was all well and good. And then we had March. I think March is actually one of the cutest ones I've ever done. You know, I didn't end up doing a review on this one, but you know, you can see these are the pens that I had inked during March. And this was fine for the most part. I enjoyed doing this, but it got to the point where it was so stressful for me that I chose to stop doing it several months ago. I think March was the last month that I did a currently inked, and that was like barely by the skin of my teeth. So how did my relaxing, soothing, fun hobby, I love inking my pens, I love cleaning my pens, I love using my pens, how did that turn into something that was causing me so much stress I had to physically stop recording my currently inked? Never mind. Well, I'm so glad you asked. Just kidding, I know that no one asked, but I'll tell you anyways. So firstly, the constraint of it being 1 month was really hard in that I thought, you know, by the first of every month, I needed to have my currently inked set up. By the first of the month, I needed to have my page established and my pens inked and everything recorded in my bullet journal. And then I also thought that by the end of the month I needed to have used up all the ink in all of my pens and have written out the review and everything. And this was really hard for me because, you know, as life fluctuates and you get busier or less busy, it was harder some months to be able to keep up with this expectation that I had for myself. I understand that this was something that I would stress out about. It was a me problem. It's not necessarily a inherent flaw of the monthly currently inked system, but it was something that I had established as an expectation for myself, and I wasn't meeting it, and that was causing me stress. So that was the first reason. Secondly, I would have a monthly bullet journal theme. As you can see in March, I'll show you the cover page for March. It was cute. It was like frogs and lily pads and flowers and everything. And I thought that my inks and my pens needed to match the theme. And you can see in March, I did a pretty good job of that. it was nice. But then there were some months that was harder to do, and that would cause a little bit of tension in me. It's also hard because I have about 15 bottles of ink. If you've got like 4 or 5 pens inked up a month, there's only so many different color combinations you can do. And I do have a few ink samples, but for the most part, there's only so many color combinations. There's only so much you can do. And so that was hard for me. And it's like, I don't want any more ink than I already have. That was not the issue. But that was another source of tension for me within the monthly currently inked. Thirdly, sometimes I would add or change pens throughout the month. We see that in January. I'll find January. That's not it. Where it's like, these are the pens that I started with, but I ended up with another one by the end of the month. I had inked another pen. But I didn't always add the new pens to the currently inked, and so then I felt like my currently inked pages weren't accurate or reflective of what I was actually using that month. And that was, again, a me problem, because I had the expectation that my currently inked would always be this accurate record, and because I wasn't adhering to that, that was stressful to me. And then fourthly, I have specific purpose pens. Right now, actually, I almost have exclusively specific purpose pens. For example, this one I inked maybe early to mid-April with the Dominant Industry Arizona Sky Crimson, and it has just had Arizona Sky Crimson in it for all of these many months. And I use this pen in my game journal. And this is the only pen I use in my game journal. And I use it for other things, but its specific purpose is the game journal. Or I have this pen, which has been inked up since March. And it has the Ferris Wheel Press Peter Moss in it. And this is specifically for my diary. And so I have these pens that serve a very specific purpose. And so I can't un-ink this pen and then ink it up with something else until I'm done with the campaign, and then I'll switch probably. But my cat's so sad. I'm not letting her in. I'll let her in right after the video is over, I promise. And then I'll give her lots and lots of love to make up for all of the time she's spent so depraved. Or this one, I re-ink or refill this pen, every couple of weeks, but that's because I'm trying to get through an ink bottle and then also get through my journal, which is huge, super thick. So I have these pens that are inked more permanently than a month and I'm using for a very specific purpose. And so that didn't align with my monthly currently inked. So as you may have noticed, these are all like me problems. They're not inherently the monthly currently inked system that a lot of people make their YouTube videos about is not an inherent problem. It just isn't suiting my needs at this particular time. However, I do want, and I'm searching for, a way to record the pens and inks that I'm using and how I'm using them and my experience and whatnot. I do still want to record that. I haven't since March, but it is something that I still want. So right now I'm currently in the process of trying to come up with a new system that will better suit my needs. So that's one project that I'm working on currently. If you have any ideas or suggestions, please feel free to let me know. But that is all I have for you. That is more than you will ever need to know about my issues with the monthly currently inked system. That's all I have for you. Thank you for tuning in. If you have somehow received this transmission, let me know in the comments or by leaving a like. And if you want to go on this journey with me, subscribe, and I will have the next chapter of my story out shortly. Goodbye for now. Love, share.